Good morning, Greg here, burning both ends, burning on the front end of Thursday morning. It is 6:27 a.m. Pacific, June 28th, 2018, and I just want to have gratitude for the beautiful weather that I have here in Albany, California. So the garage door is open, the cool air is coming in. I love the cool mornings here in Albany, even though we're in the summertime, and that's why I have the hoodie on. That's why I have the hat on, because it gets a little cool and just want to stay nice and warm in here. And I also dig the hat, right? My dad gave me this hat, so it's very sentimental. And then also, I don't know if I've said this out loud, but I find with this hat on, it's hard to take myself too seriously. That's something that my dad had told me before. He says, don't take yourself too seriously. And so I figure with this hat on, for these posts, I can't take myself too seriously. So that's another piece. And then my wife gave me this hoodie. I love this hoodie. So nice and warm here in the garage, in the home office. So let's just talk for a second about the extra mile, going the extra mile, right? Just putting a little extra effort. So last night after the post, I probably had about 20 minutes before midnight, 20 minutes of time after the post, and I try to get to bed by midnight, so that way I'm up at 5. And so I decided, right, I can easily say, I'll just get to bed a little earlier, but I was like, all right, let me push on something here. So I went to the old Success Journal. Love the Success Journal, really working out well. And I found that, I really hadn't done much work on the nonprofit widget project. So let me get going on that. So I did some searches. So I'm looking for nonprofits, obviously. And so it would be great to have a list in the area, and also a list based on revenue. So I ended up finding this website that I could generate a list, but then I needed to start picking categories. And so it gave me a great opportunity to email Peter and let him know that I'm looking at this, and to get his advice on, I think there were like maybe 20 categories to pick from. And I was like, hey, which top 3 should I start with? Or is it more than 3, or is it just 1? So anyway, so this little bit of extra effort kicked up a great resource that I found, kicked up a great communication to my leader, to show him that I'm on top of things, and I'm looking at things, and I'm getting his expertise. So, and then also yesterday, I am doing the same practice with the nonprofit business as I am with the I-Corps, right? I'm doing customer discovery interviews. I'm just setting up people to talk to, nonprofits to talk to, where my position is, I'm new to this business. I want to learn. Teach me. And the way that I'm positioning myself is I'll mention what I'm working on. I'll mention the company, I'll mention the widget, but just only if they ask. And because the primary thing is I want to learn about the space. And the way I see it is that way it can be a really soft sell for the nonprofit. So, they'll say, well, tell me about this company, and I'll tell them a little bit. But in a very, hey, this is what we had, this is the result, but tell me more about the industry, I want to learn. And the way I see it working out is then over time, as I communicate with them, at some point they're going to dig and they're going to want to learn more. And so it's that patience game. It's and then also what I'm doing is during this initial meeting is I'm asking if there's anything I can do to help them. Right, they're helping me out by giving me information about the industry. I certainly want to be of service, and so and that's one of the cool things is that dealing with all these nonprofits. I mean, if I can volunteer or if I can do something to help them, that's really, I think, impactful. And I like that position. That way, I'm still, and I'm engaging in the industry. I'm learning. I'm being of service. And then there's this thing out here that may become a sale or may not, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is learning and then helping them out. So. And what I like to do is recommend to Peter is how can we kind of like officially position ourselves like that? And maybe we don't want to. I mean, I need to really understand what his marketing plan is. But for me, joining this industry, I think that's a great position to take. Is I'm learning. I want to help you guys out. And at some point, we may talk about this thing, but it doesn't really make a difference. And then, of course, part of the customer discovery interview process is that I ask them who else can they introduce me to so I can learn more. And so we'll see how that goes. And so that was the little extra mile last night, a little burst of like 15-minute little bit of work. Oh yeah, last time I did order the Burn at Both Ends t-shirt. So the first ever t-shirt, I'm going to bring it to me to New York City on July 31st. There's this ENTS event, and so excited for that. Have some bubbly water here. I find that in the morning when I just have my coffee, I go right to the post, and throat gets a little bit dry after talking for a bit. So got the bubbly to help me out. Ordered the t-shirt, so I will show that to you when it shows up. So just so you know, to get one t-shirt, I believe it's going to be a nice soft cotton t-shirt. I'm not exactly sure. The design software was really cool. I think it was called Custom Ink was the website. The design software was really cool, I thought. And $25 for one t-shirt. It's a color just printed on one side, and then it was $10 to rush it to me. So I'll have it by, I think, the 6th of July. I just wanted to give enough time that way in case I get it and I don't like it and I got to redo it. I have enough time. The standard delivery was, I think, July 12th, and that was too tight of a time frame there. So I'll have it July 6th. So maybe I'll order a few more. I was a little surprised at how expensive but I guess $24, $25 is not so bad when you think about all this work to get me one t-shirt. So I think I have to order more than 10 to see a price break, and the price break's not that great. So and then I've still been doing just some more things that are working. I'm still doing this Millionaire Mind Conditioning program, right? So here's let's see when did I start this folder, because I have a whole other folder here. So this is started from March of this year. So building this one up, and one of the really cool things that this does, right? So it cycles through, I think, 7 different little sheets, right? So each, where's them? Well, you can look. There's a link in the description. Actually, there isn't a link. I can't link because this is copyrighted. But if you just you Google search Millionaire Mind 90-day wealth conditioning program, you'll come across a PDF pretty soon, and you'll see that they cycle through like 7 activities, and one of the activities, or 7 pages each one with its own set of activities, and it takes 10-15 minutes in the morning to do this. And it's great because it keeps me focused on goals, it keeps me focused on gratitude, keeps me focused on successes. It's a nice kind of complementary thing to the Success Journal because it's a different thing. This goes a lot higher level than the Success Journal. The highest level that the Success Journal really kind of goes are maybe like 1 to 2 month goals. These success steps. We don't really hit really high level goals, like big vision type things. Whereas this gets into big vision. And then so the activity here was this act in spite of, and I'll just read it. Act in spite of. Choose an action that challenges you and moves you forward. Take that action today in spite of any negative feelings or what your mind may tell you. Write down the action you will take today, and at the end of the day, describe the feelings you felt in completing the action and or how you feel you've grown by taking the action in spite of. And so this is that, those things that kind of hide in the shadows for us. We all have these things that we're avoiding doing. And for me, right, because I've spent a lot of time in the last 2 years getting a handle on my finances, and I feel I have a really good handle. At the first of every month, I pay every bill, get everything in alignment, so that way the entire month I just know that money is good. And so a long time ago in a land far, far away, well, in Baltimore, I believe. So I started my bank account with Bank of America way back in college, like in the 90s, and then I think I got a mortgage with them. Did I get a mortgage with them? I got something with them. And then they gave me this Advantage checking account like in 2000 or something. And with the checking account came all these free things, or at least at the time it was free. And one of them was a safe deposit box. Never used one, but it was free, so it just kind of came with it. So I just had it. And I've never ever used it. I've since lost the keys, my bad. But then Bank of America changed their terms and they started charging me for the safe deposit box. And I find that banks are doing this, right? They're all of a sudden realizing, wow, I can charge this person for that. And I don't know how legally that works. I mean, if I give you something for free and then later decide that, oh, that was a mistake, now I'm going to bill you for it, I'm curious as to what kind of shadiness I need to go through to do that without you needing to agree to it, right? Because that's essentially what happened. So anyway, they started charging me for this box, and I just ignored, the bills. but then they started piling up. And so now it was like $250 I had to pay. So I was like, you know what? That was my act in spite of. So Tuesday I scheduled an appointment with Bank of America. I went yesterday, paid the fine, or paid, to close the account. Now I'm learning that because I lost the keys, I got to pay more, but I can totally accept that because that was my fault. But anyway, so I ended up going to Bank of America yesterday to close that safe deposit box account out, and we should have it done in the next couple days. So the interesting thing is, even though it's Bank of America, depending on what state you're in, it could be entirely different rules, which is kind of frustrating because the whole point of a Bank of America is that it shouldn't have that. And so the first thing I get is all these explanations as to, well, we're in California, they're in Maryland, the rules are different, and it's so much for Bank of America. And I have to admit, I'm getting frustrated with this fee nonsense that they're coming up with because I'm finding it everywhere. I'm starting to get charged on one of my checking accounts if I don't have a large enough balance every month, and they're even changing those rules. It's kind of funny. I can't get a clear answer. One of the answers was, well, if you keep over $5,000 a month in it, you're fine. Or if you have direct deposit going from your work, that's fine. But those don't seem to be the answer. And then the other thing this lady said was, if I open up like 4 other savings accounts, then I'm good. And I'm like, why would I want to do that? That doesn't make any sense. So more accounts. That I don't need more accounts, but just getting a little frustrated with Bank of America. So, but acted in spite of getting that process going. Haven't completed it yet because they still need to do this thing where I lost the key and they need to fix the lock. I have to pay for that, but I did ask very nicely if they could do anything to reduce the fees or things like that, and I did express my distaste for this was free at first and now you're charging me for it, and it turns me off. And I also said, hey, I'm totally will pay for the fact that I lost the keys, but I don't feel I should have to pay for these other things because you told me this was free. So we'll see how it goes. And the gentleman that I spoke to, very nice, was very accommodating, so hopefully he can make some things work. So really digging this 90-day wealth conditioning program. I love just the concept of building this little folder, right? Just slowly, it's kind of representative of what I'm doing, right? It's one page every day, and over time, right? This is, oops, not that one. That's the empty one. This is the other one I have. So I built that one up, and I just want to have volumes of these things 10 years from now that are part of the documentation of my journey, right? So in theory, someone should be able to go through those and kind of follow what's going on. They'll have these videos. They'll have all my ENSs. Haven't talked about ENS in a while. Still loving that platform. And so this is kind of all part of this documenting my journey. That's the whole point of this channel. I'll segue into a close here. And so if you like what you hear, subscribe, comment down below. A big piece of what I'm doing is I want to be of service. So please ask questions, ask me for help. I'd love to try to help out. Also, don't forget, LinkedIn is huge, right? And I think we're in this interesting moment in time where I can do things on LinkedIn that I could never do otherwise, and that maybe 5 years I won't be able to do. I'm starting to kind of get a glimpse of what Gary Vee says, where he talks about this arbitrage, because I haven't gotten into Facebook advertising or Instagram advertising yet. That's on my list for this year. To begin that, after iCore is when I really focus on my Instagram account for Burning Both Ends. I'm gonna pivot on my posts. I'm really gonna focus on ENS. It's just during this iCore program, I really wanted to focus on that. And last night I had that conclusion with the presentation that maybe I should put off some other personal projects to focus on iCore, because iCore does come to an end, and I will not want to have regret. Oh, I wish I would have done this. And I'm thinking about driving to some of the big companies that we got to talk to on Tuesday and just knocking on doors, literally, just walking in the front door. So anyway, so this is about my journey. Ask questions, ask me for help. I'd love to try to help out. There are some motivational links in the description. There's a link to the Success Journal, a link to a post about the Success Journal. There's Ences down there. There's some great music down there. The beat in the background is an Afro beat inspired by Fela Kuti. Check it out. Not check it out, but G Money, who's my alter ego, writes those beats. It's me. Been playing drums for a couple decades, so I write these drum songs. They're on SoundCloud. Check them out if you like them. I really dig them. And that's about it for today. So go out, do some great things, inspire some folks. Crush it, and I will see you tonight.